Picture this. August 6, 1999. Ford Motor Company forced to halt sales and recall every single 1999 Mustang SVT Cobra ever built. 8,095 units, every single one. The reason? A 35 horsepower scandal so embarrassing that Ford canceled the entire standard 2000 Cobra production run. Meanwhile, the Chevrolet Camaro SS sat in the winner's circle, its LS1 V8 proving everything Ford promised but couldn't deliver. This is the story of how Detroit's bow tie beat Detroit's blue oval with facts, not fiction, and how one magazine drag race exposed the biggest horsepower lie of the 1990s. Let's rewind to early 1999. Ford SVT had a problem. The General Motors F-body twins were dominating every drag strip in America with their all-aluminum LS1 V8. The Camaro Z28 and Pontiac Firebird Trans Am were running mid-13-second quarter miles straight from the factory, embarrassing everything Ford could throw at them. Ford's response? The 1999 Mustang SVT Cobra, complete with a new independent rear suspension, upgraded 4.6-liter DOHC V8, and a bold promise: 320 horsepower. On paper, the Cobra looked unstoppable. Dual overhead cams, 32 valves, aluminum block and heads, independent rear suspension for superior handling. Ford SVT Chief John Coletti promised this Cobra would smoke the GM twins, finally. Chevrolet wasn't worried. They had the LS1. And in the Camaro SS, they had 5.7 liters of all-aluminum, pushrod perfection wrapped in aggressive bodywork. The SS package added SLP Engineering's magic: a composite hood with functional cold air induction, dual exhaust, and suspension tuning that made the already impressive Z28 even deadlier. And here's the beautiful part. Dyno tests showed the SS making approaching or exceeding 300 horsepower at the rear wheels, suggesting true crank horsepower closer to 350 or 360. GM had a long history of underrating the LS1, and the Camaro SS was no exception. Ford, meanwhile, had a different problem. They were overrating their engine by about 35 horsepower. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Car and driver decided to settle the argument. July 1999, they gathered 3 convertibles for a head-to-head shootout: the Camaro SS, the Ford Cobra, and the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. 3 American V8s, 1 drag strip. Let the best engine win. The Camaro SS convertible hit 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds. The quarter mile? 13.9 seconds at 103 miles per hour. Not bad for a 3,500-pound convertible with a rated 320 horses. The Ford Cobra? 6.0 seconds to 60. 14.6 seconds at 98 miles per hour in the quarter mile. Wait, what? The Cobra with its fancy DOHC engine, independent rear suspension, and 320 horsepower was slower than the pushrod Chevy? Car and driver didn't mince words. The Cobra did not have the punch we were expecting. Translation? You'll lose every drag race. The magazine even noted that despite the Cobra's sophisticated independent rear suspension, it suffered from severe wheel hop under hard acceleration, a nasty side effect of the independent suspension that made drag racing a nightmare. Ford SVT panicked. They sent car and driver a replacement Cobra, claiming the first car must have been defective. The replacement car? 5.6 seconds to 60, 14.2 at 100 miles per hour. Better, but still slower than the Camaro SS. Mustang owners nationwide started hitting the dyno. The results were devastating. Cars rated at 320 horsepower were making around 285 horsepower, some even less. The internet exploded with dyno sheets, angry forum posts, and one very uncomfortable question. Did Ford lie? The Florida Attorney General thought so. They launched a formal investigation for false advertising. Auto Week ran the headline: "Fighting for Horsepower, Florida versus 99 SVT Cobra." This wasn't just embarrassing, this was a full-blown scandal. Ford's investigation found the smoking gun. Actually, 3 smoking guns. First, the intake manifold was poorly manufactured with excessive material, rough internal walls, and leftover casting flash, costing several horsepower each, adding up fast. Second, to clear the new independent rear suspension, Ford had to flatten the exhaust mufflers. The result? Excessive back pressure strangling several more horsepower. Third, minor compression and calibration issues. Total documented loss by Ford's own investigation? Roughly 15 horsepower. But that still left 20 more horses mysteriously missing. Probably cumulative effects and conservative rating practices that backfired spectacularly. Here's the truly savage part. In many real-world tests, the 98 Cobra proved just as fast, and sometimes faster, than the 99 model, despite Ford claiming a 15 horsepower increase. The 98 made 305 horses. The 99 made roughly 285. That's not an upgrade. That's corporate malpractice. August 6, 1999. Ford made the unprecedented decision to halt all sales of unsold Cobras and recall every single 1999 model. 8,095 units. Every owner got a letter offering free modifications. New intake manifold, complete exhaust system replacement, and PCM reflash. But the damage was done. Ford canceled the entire standard 2000 model year Cobra. No regular Cobra production whatsoever. The only Mustang SVT built in 2000 was the Cobra R, a limited-run, hand-built, 5.4-liter, 385 horsepower track monster. 300 units, $54,995, sold out almost overnight. The Cobra R was essentially Ford's $55,000 apology letter. And here's the kicker. Road and Track tested the Cobra R and found it was actually underrated. Ford was so paranoid about another scandal, they overcompensated. While Ford was busy recalling cars, canceling model years, and dodging government investigations, what was the Camaro SS doing? Dominating drag strips across America. Real-world Camaro SS coupes, well-driven stock cars with just drag radials and good traction, were running 12.8 to 12.9 seconds at 104 miles per hour. That's nearly a full second faster than Car and Driver's convertible test, and light years ahead of the Cobra. The LS1 in the Camaro SS wasn't just fast, it was understated brilliance. All aluminum construction, sequential fuel injection, a composite intake manifold that actually worked properly, and a factory rating that consistently proved conservative on the dyno. The value proposition was staggering. A Camaro SS coupe with the 6-speed manual? Approximately $25,185? A 1999 Corvette C5 with essentially the same LS1 engine? $38,000. You could buy a Camaro SS and have $13,000 left over for mods. Or you could buy a Corvette and get basically the same engine. Edmunds summed it up perfectly. From a bang-for-the-buck standpoint, the Z28 is unbeatable, and the SS package made it even deadlier for just $3,700 more. Production numbers tell the story. In 1999, Chevrolet built 4,829 Camaro SS models, nearly 2,000 more than the previous year. Demand was strong because the car actually delivered on its promises. Special editions like the Hugger Orange Hoss SS, only 375 units, became instant collectibles. The combination of the SS package with the track-focused 1LE option? Just 8 units exist. That's rarity through excellence, not recall. Ford learned an expensive lesson in 1999. You can't promise 320 horsepower and deliver 285. You can't claim your car is faster than the competition when magazine tests prove otherwise. And you definitely can't recall 8,000 units without destroying your credibility. The Cobra returned in 2001 with all the fixes implemented from the factory. But the damage to Ford's reputation lingered. SVT chief John Coletti's legacy took a permanent black eye. The independent rear suspension improved handling on smooth roads, but on the drag strip, it remained problematic. Meanwhile, the Camaro SS kept the solid rear axle and kept winning drag races. Sometimes old-school engineering beats fancy technology, especially when the fancy technology creates wheel hop and requires flattening your mufflers. The LS1 engine that powered the Camaro SS would go on to become legendary. It powered the C5 Corvette, the 4th-gen F-body, and later evolved into the LS2, LS3, and beyond. Today, the LS engine family dominates everything from drag strips to road racing to engine swaps worldwide. The 1999 Ford Cobra? It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of over-promising and under-delivering. Some cars become legends for greatness. Others become legends for scandal. The 99 Cobra achieved both, just not in the way Ford intended. Car and Driver's July 1999 comparison delivered the verdict American muscle car fans still quote today. The Camaro SS won the drag race, won the value argument, and proved that pushrods and solid axles weren't obsolete. They were just underestimated. Ford promised a Cobra that would smoke the competition. Chevrolet delivered a Camaro that actually did. 320 horsepower versus 285. 5.3 seconds versus 6.0. 13.9 versus 14.6. 8,095 units recalled versus 0. The numbers don't lie, even when the manufacturers do. If you enjoyed watching Ford learn the hard way that honesty is the best horsepower policy, smash that subscribe button. We've got more stories of corporate scandals, drag strip dominance, and muscle car wars that defined an era. Up next, the forgotten muscle cars that deserve your respect. Or maybe they don't. You'll have to watch to find out. This is Car Chronicles, where we celebrate greatness and expose failures with equal enthusiasm. Don't be the person who believed Ford's 320 horsepower claim.